guys. We're really excited to be here today. Thank you guys for joining Jumper Cable Records for another episode. I have the extreme pleasure of sitting down with Elijah Reyes, who I don't know if you guys know this, but he was once Sunset Boulevard Guitar Center top salesman on the floor for xylophones. What was your top number? Top number?
I sold only maracas.
Maracas.
Yeah.
Good.
People knowing that I'm the lead maracist for many top 40 Spanish language bands, they're like, I want to buy maracas from that man alone.
That's right. And excuse me, Jeremy Harris, who we also know as Mr. Cotillion Pants. Sorry.
Yes.
You couldn't even get through it.
Yes.
You had it locked and loaded. And you're just like,
I couldn't.
Yeah, that is Etiquette King Jeremy Harris, please.
Yeah. So I can't stop. I'm sorry. Kiara brought that up on the way here. She said, I think you did Cotillion. And I'm not laughing at the fact that you did Cotillion, but the Cotillion Pants was her idea. So props were.
I've never been to a cotillion, and I know he covered those and like helped coordinate. And like you worked for a family that did them, but like I don't know anything that happens at those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give us the rundown. So to start out, I just want to get to so Jeremy.
This is not where I thought this was starting.
Yeah. No, we're off the rails. But
in fourth grade, you peed your pants. Let's get into that.
Fourth grade, 12 years old, and also about a month ago.
Oh, I thought you were saying in fourth grade you were 12 years old.
Also
I was like,
that, yes.
Whoa, held back a ton.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's get back on track here. But no, so I want to get to know you guys a little more. At one point, we've all stayed under the same roof, so I know you.
Yes, true.
But I feel like we need to know you a little bit better. So tell us about the Cotillions. What does that all entail?
Yeah.
Take us down that road.
It was really a great job to have. I taught all the kids how to dance myself, and no one helped me. So that was the whole thing. Yeah. No, it was a cotillion.
Did anybody teach you?
No, I was one step ahead of the kids, and I was good.
Good.
It was a cotillion for fourth grade to eighth grade, and we taught them etiquette and a little bit of ballroom dance.
Good.
And I learned what they were learning that night usually. So.
Yeah. It's possible that I need that.
I don't even know what the term is. That like a Spanish? It sounds like something out of Star Trek. Like the Borgs are attacking, the Klingons are attacking, also the Cotillions are attacking.
So lock your doors.
Yeah. Don't ask me the real answer to that question because I don't know.
Yes. French,
well, all right.
something.
We'll leave that in the bag.
Question.
You've both toured a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you let us stay at your guys' home, which was very nice in the middle of a tour. There was. Yes, thank you for letting us get out of the cold.
No problem. I was in good old Washington State. Kiara and I move around a little bit, but we were happy to have you. And we'll talk a little bit about Gardenside and some of that project as we go on. But when touring, so I remember back when I was in 7th, 6th grade, anytime I went on a junior high football game, I'd get $20 from my parents. And
per diem, baby.
Yeah. We'd stop at a little convenience store, and my go-to snacks were a Big Hunk. I don't know if you even know what those are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the nougat with the peanuts in it. It's delicious. Yeah. A Charleston Chew, Yoo-Hoo. This is healthy stuff, right?
Mostly I'm laughing because these are all things that I imagine like they were in a 70s movie and they just did not.
You have extreme old man taste in candy.
I know. The only thing I'm missing is Good and Plenty's, and you'll never get.
I gotta wear this original. We got just a box of ice cubes or sugar cubes. We let them melt on our tongues.
All right, next one's 2-part question. I'm sure you both were involved in some high school projects. What was your high school band name? So that's part 1. And it can just be your favorite or all of them, you know. And then number 2, I'll give you number 2 after I hear number 1.
Okay. I was in a band with my brother. It was originally called Preston. And then we changed it after we released a demo. And then after that demo, let's change it. We changed it to the 4th year, which then we felt was stronger, or it just like looked better on a kick drum for some reason. That was like a big test for a band. Yeah, like, does it look as cool on a kick drum? Yeah, fourth year looks better on a kick drum. People always assumed we were like a college band or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. What was the story behind fourth year?
I'm honestly, I'm blanking. I don't really remember. I can't really think.
Because I immediately think of like 4-year degree, you know.
Yeah, I think I think the bass player Adam. I think he came up with the name.
Okay.
It was something somewhat like, it's like there's a lot of things that happen. I guess there's a lot of things that happen within the fourth year, like graduating, or like there's a lot of, I guess, significance around that year for no matter where you kind of are. That's the fourth year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's a big year, senior year.
And then Preston, that came from the movie Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, okay.
The main character in that film was named Preston.
I think you're going to be able to see a big difference between the level of bands that me and Elijah were in during high school years. My first band was Double Speak, which I'm not embarrassed about. I think that was a decent.
That's a good name.
It was a good name. I think that was a good one. But then I had a period where I was in Skippy and the Jams.
Oh no!
So imagine like a really bad wannabe screamo band.
Oh, I would have guessed ska.
Right, exactly.
That would have been amazing. Ska name.
It was like a screamo band called Skippy and the Jams, and and technically I was out of high school, so I was way too old to be doing something called that.
I like it. Was that your idea?
It probably was. Yeah. There were people I knew who called me Skippy at times, so that was we ran with it. And
the biggest tragedy was his favorite peanut butter is actually Jif.
The whole thing was a lie.
It just didn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah. You could Jif and the Jams. It was not right.
Yeah,
well, you could have leveraged a sponsorship out of that today. So you missed out.
I was thinking of going back to it, but
well, there's always time. We had a great opportunity to interview, and this is going into part 2. Great band called Common Koi, but they had a side project that they called Doop Snog, which I love the name. Snoop Dogg, Doop Snog.
Oh.
And it's great.
My brain didn't even go there. No. My brain went, it's like they have like a Swedish member.
Yeah.
We feel Doop Snog. Yeah.
No, it kind of caught me off guard too when they said it. I was like, that's a weird word, man. But no, then it connected, and it's really fun. But what would you name a band today? That, like, if you go back in high school, band it up, what would your high school band name?
That's a tough question, because there are sleepless nights that go into naming a band.
Right.
True. Top of your head.
Oh man.
Lendrick Kamar.
I wanted to call Gardenside Race Car Bed.
I like Race Car Bed,
but it was a like EDM duo already.
They already had the name.
They already had
Race
it.
Car Bed.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. My first like serious band I was in for like 7 years or something was called Kid Cadaver.
Oh, okay.
That was like the first band that did anything worth saying anything about. So, and that was great stuff. I still look at that stuff. It was awesome. It was really a good time.
I went to many Kid Cadaver shows. It's good band, solid band.
Back in the day.
Lots of play on K-Rock, our local station out here.
Kid Cadaver. Noted.
I was in a band on Epitaph Records / Hellcat, so they're Hellcat imprint, so that's Tim Armstrong's kind of sub-label within Epitaph. Band called Time Again. Punk band from like end of 04 to like early 09. And then played with an artist from Atlantic Records. Her name's Pennybird Rabbit. Amazing. I got to a couple of the other members. We were just part of her like live band, but they're from another band I also got to play with called New Electric Sound. That was something where it was like, the time again, it was just nonstop touring. That was just like a roller coaster, really lucky ride for Pennybird Rabbit. It was more like the challenge was turn all these songs that don't have any live instrumentation into something that is worth seeing live.
Sure.
So like turning like synth parts into guitar parts, any sort of like bloop you'd hear like on a record, you're like, that's got to be something or played by someone in some capacity, whether it's the drummer Tony playing something, or there's pads or different sounds that the keyboardist Nigel had to play. That was really fun, and that kind of went into that same like, instead of like time again, it was like I was like the chief songwriter along with the singer Daniel. For Penny, it was like, okay, figure out how to turn these into something live, and then with Gardenside, my role has kind of been the same on the technical side of like, how do we just sound the best live that we can? And so Jeremy and I have done a lot of like napkin writing, trying to figure out technically how to make a live show work that best represents the record that you know, his vision of it.
Yeah.
So that's been the exciting part for that.
So how did you guys go about booking sets in those tours, booking locations, and was it mostly getting on the phone? Did you have an agent that reached out for you? I guess we'll start with Jeremy and then Elijah.
Yeah, for Gardenside, I mean, luckily we were kind of jumping on other people's stuff, so we never had to fight too hard for our own shows. But a lot of stuff we were invited out on with the Calling All Captains tour. They invited us on that, and all the neck deep stuff. They brought us out for those. So we had it a little bit easier on that side, so we weren't quite as working towards it ourselves. But
at least not in the moment, right? I mean, that takes networking up front to get those networks built so that you're invited. People got to know your abilities a little bit. So don't sell yourself short. That was work put in.
Totally. Yeah, I guess so.
For Time Again, we got really lucky in that we never really had to book any like DIY tours. I've seen people do it, and people have been really successful with it. It's a whole other job, you know? So yeah, Time Again, we lucked out and got the best punk rock booking agent there is, Stormy Shepherd of Leave Home Booking. Big get, like we were just like, hey, we'd love to be considered. And she's like, yeah, I kind of have a full roster, but let's hang out. You know, we were on, we're already about to be signed to Tim's label, Tim Armstrong from Reyes at his label. She's like, I just want to make sure, like we're friends, but like, I don't think I'm going to take on another band. And we went to this restaurant, Cha-Cha-Cha's. Am I thinking of the right one? Yeah. Amazing restaurant.
Goodbye, Cha-Cha-Cha's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
No. So yeah. Sorry for the bum out. R.I.P. Cha-Cha-Cha's. But yeah, at the end of the night, she's like, you know what? I'm going to book you guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And we went from like so we started within like 5-6 months, we had gotten like record label offers. We got Epitaph, and we'd gotten the best booking agent for punk rock you could ever ask for. And we went from playing like the only shows that we'd kind of gotten ourselves were like the Knitting Factory. It's another defunct venue, but like, capacity 130. And then like the first like really small tour that she booked us was a band called the Circle Jerks, and it was like cool, sold out show, and House of Blues San Diego, like I think that's like a 1,300 2,000 cap room or something like that. So like 130 to like 1,300 within the span of like 2 or 3 months.
That energy's a lot different.
Yeah. You gotta the learning curve going kind of going to shows that big was
How did that go? Was it pretty good?
It was a
good show.
That first show, yeah, like was crazy too. Is like for House of Blues. If you've been to House of Blues, it's they're one of the few venues who like properly always do curtains. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know it was like sold out. And even if there are sold out shows, like people in LA or tend not to show up for the opening bands.
Yeah,
it was wall to wall packed. So the curtains open, and I'm just like, I think that's maybe one of the 2 or 3 times that I'm like, I was like nervous playing.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just learn to like,
you're just doing what you do.
Yeah. You got to learn quickly, or you'll get eaten alive. And you just you're playing with bands that you just go like, I need to pretend like I've been here before, so my body doesn't like convulse or like throw up. So that's the trick. Pretend like you've been there before.
Yeah. You it's like trial by fire with those things for sure. Mm-hmm. I remember the first Neck Deep show we did. I walked off stage. I'm already hypercritical about everything I do, but I walked off stage and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I just had to talk to everyone and be like, okay. And then literally the next night, it was like a different person. Like it was like, yeah, no, you have to leave it all up there. Like, and so you feed off of that crowd for sure.
Yeah. But apologies. I guess we're both bad people to talk to you about booking DIY tours.
No, don't. Yeah, don't worry about that. And what I heard is, there's a couple ways to go about it. You kind of get lucky, and but you take the initiative to reach out to booking agents that have some clout, and you get in touch with them, get yourself in front of them, however it cha-cha-cha's RIP and or whatever it is, but you give yourself a chance to get that deal, or you just network with the right people and get invited out. And I think that takes a ton of work, but a lot of times doesn't feel like it because it's what you love doing. So for our musicians listening, I would just take note of the things these guys say, because they're two of the more respected musicians in my life. Elijah wrote our wedding song, and Jeremy's an incredible singer. You guys will hear this as they perform at the end of the episode today. Pressure. Which, just so you know, I don't know if I told you.
Yeah, we both wrote
really
new songs for this too.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. So you guys are gonna get exclusive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we both finished new songs today for this.
Yeah.
You'll see what I mean, but take what they're saying and try to apply it. I keep looking at my phone because Kiara usually does these interviews, and she's more prepared than I am. But
you got to do the Marlon Brando. Do you know what he did?
No.
I think later in his career, he would just have like an earpiece with someone feeding him lines. Robert Downey Jr. does the same thing, but mostly it's so he can kind of riff off of what the line's supposed to be and kind of react to the moment. But another thing Marlon Brando would do, he would just have cue cards set up around the set, not in view. A thing to consider.
That's all technology that I'm not capable. I mean, when you asked if I knew what Marlon Brando did, I was like, well, I know he did a lot of things, Elijah.
Oscar-winning actor. Godfather.
I mean, he's all right. Yeah. What did you see?
Well, I mean, the ability to run tracks as, without needing thousands and thousands of dollars of gear, just from the time, I mean, it pretty much, it allowed people to go from, I need 10 people on stage to make this sound right, to I need 2 people on stage and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big thing where it's interesting to see what people can do with how many people they have.
Yeah.
And so
there's also, in addition to the technology being more accessible, there's less of a stigma to using that stuff. I mean, you think back, was it even 10 years ago? Maybe it's probably more, but like Ashley Simpson on SNL, using a backing track to kind of thicken up her vocals, and it's like everyone does that.
Yeah,
I think Outkast 2 weeks later had done that, but they're no one. I know. Yeah, there's some there was a weird stigma to using backing tracks, and now that's just utterly gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one person I know that's never used it is Post Malone. Great. I'm just kidding. No, that's true. And even busking, you walk down the street and you hear people playing, and they're using it to some extent. Unless they're playing acoustically, they've got something.
Totally.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has access to the same technology for the most part, so it's not like they're cheating, or whatever. Which kind of was the stigma before, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
Right.
Yeah, you're not real musicians, but
no talent.
I remember when we were starting Kid Cadaver and we were looking for who can play keyboard. How can we get, I don't know anyone who plays keyboard, in any meaningful way. And suddenly it turned into that to be well, what if I load a bunch of samples onto a sample pad and we find one of our friends who can just hit a thing on time.
Yeah.
And it's we couldn't find anyone to do that either. So I ended up just doing it myself while playing guitar.
Sure. And
so it turned into, suddenly we're making 10 people's, worth of music with 3 people.
That was honestly because for Kid Cadaver, I was a fan watching Jeremy do this. The almost mad scientist is he gonna get it in time? Because he's he's a good stage performer, so he's dancing around doing his guitar parts, but then rushing over the stage to hit these certain things. And if you hit samples in the wrong spot, it is so glaring. It's not I hit a wrong note and I can slide into that right note. It's here's 10 seconds of off time music.
It ruins the show.
Ruins the show. Or at least ruins that section of the song and throws everybody off.
Have you ever missed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember I worked in as many backup plans as I could, and I always tried to keep things short so that if it did mess up, it didn't mess up for that long.
You could get it back in time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but we had disasters for sure. Yeah. And that's what comes with playing with a backtrack is that there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
And when you're 3 people, if you have to stop that backtrack,
sorry guys.
there's no, there's not enough anymore.
Yeah. Gosh. Well,
I've learned to like have a floating point for like what I say success is.
Yeah.
Like the music I have on YouTube, I recorded to submit it. Like I felt ultra compelled. I saw this like songwriter competition. I'm like, I have this like 4 or 5 songs. I think they're super solid. I'll enter this competition. It turned out the competition was really more of like, hey, put views into this. If whoever gets most views, then they'll be judged. So it's like, well, I didn't have a big social media following. So I was like, okay, I didn't get any traction with that, but I created these things and I created these videos. I felt really good about them. I got a lot of good feedback from them, but nothing came of it. So I was like, I guess nothing really happened. I guess that those videos weren't successful. And so nothing happens. A couple of years later, I get a message on Facebook, and it's this woman. She's like, hey, my brother, who was a big fan of Time Again, last week he had like sent your songs to my sister and I, and the songs I have on YouTube are like, you know, like singer-songwriter stuff. And she's like, he doesn't listen to that stuff at all. And so we're really shocked on why this like punk ska guy, you know, he like grew up listening to punk, would send us these songs, but he said that like he was just felt really moved by these songs. And she's like, I have a really hard time typing this, but he was murdered today.
Oh.
And we can't think of anything else than to, for his funeral, play, have people play your songs or one of the songs. And so I'm like, I can't be there, but I sent them the chords. I'm like, if there's anything I can do. And then like that to me was like, okay, those songs didn't go viral. I didn't gain some following. I didn't gain like a like record deal from those songs, but I was proud of them, and they clearly served a purpose. Was it the purpose I had in mind? No, but were they successful? Yes. So what you think is maybe a failure now, 2-3 years, a lifetime from now, someone's could possibly be connecting with that in a way that you could never see. And I was just fortunate enough to have someone tell me about it. It's a tragedy that happened, and like I just feel for his family, and just like I almost thought I'm like this can't be real, because it's like I had like search online. I was like, oh yeah, this happened. This person was this guy just minded his own business. But yeah, like I wrapped up in a sad story of this tragedy is like this weird thing of me going like, okay, it was successful in this other way. So I always, from then on, I was like, okay, but no matter what I do, I just assume that it's serving a purpose, a greater purpose that I might not get to see.
To wrap up, do you guys have anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah. Just like,
yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
Your mom.
Your mom.
I want to shout out to my mom, not my dad, because that's what's cool.
My shout out also goes to Jeremy's mom.
Mine too.
Why does everyone always say that?
Yeah. This is becoming an issue in the band.
Yeah, shout out to the like insane, always helpful to us, Phil Thorpe Evans.
Yes.
He's just always been the guy pushing Gardenside and really making everything that we ever did that was great happen. He's in a band, World's First Cinema. Incredible, totally awesome. Go check them out.
Shout out to the other members in Gardenside who are either coming back from tour or touring at the moment. Robbie and Niles.
Mm-hmm. Great guys.
Yeah.
Great guys. Very talented too.
Busy dudes.
Yeah.
Carling. Carling is an
Carling?
ex Gardenside member. Carling does his pop music thing. That's also incredible.
Is that what he goes by on it? Is it Carling?
Carling, yeah.
If we look that up.
Soft Blue Shimmer, that also has former Gardenside members in it. Members, I guess, really. Has Kenzo ever...
No.
He toured with us, though. He helped.
Yeah, he came, yeah. He's
Helpful.
part of the family.
Part of the Gardenside family.
He played with us once.
Did
Before you?
Maybe before me.
No way. It was
Must have
that
been
long
before.
ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah, he played one show with us once. He helped us out.
It's great.
Lots of family people.
Yeah. Well, good. No, that's good. They've all interacted. So Gardenside, obviously these two are part of Gardenside. They're an amazing band. Love their sound. I think pop punk is kind of coming back, and I don't think I'd classify you as pop punk unless you would. But definitely look into it.
Punk adjacent?
Yeah, we were in that a bit.
realm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember I had a lot of my students. So I taught high school for a couple years, and a lot of my students were into the K-pop movement, and some of them even into some punk, like Blink-182. And so I showed them Gardenside, and they're like, "This is actually good." I was like, I'm not going to lead you astray. No, but there were a few that really caught on to it and liked it. So I know
nice.
there's definitely
It's no GIF in the jams, but you know.
there's a fan base out there.
There'll never be another GIF in the jams.
No.
There wasn't a GIF in the jams to
There
begin. It was Skippy in the jams.
But thank you guys for sharing the time with us. And I guess we'll transition. You guys can play us a few songs.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.